So from Photoshop elements, when do we move up to Photoshop the large brother?
Generally speaking, it's when you really need to flex a little bit more muscle. So why don't we have a look at what we can do.
An example?
Okay. So we'll open up Photoshop here. All right, so here we are in Photoshop now, Photoshop Elements bigger brother. And what we got here is just a casual family portrait with a granddaughter and grandma. And grandma basically says, you know, I'm looking a little, aged here in the photograph. Is there something we can do to make me look better? Of course there is. Now, Photoshop has an amazing tool called the healing brush, and if we were to apply it, what we could do is we could sample or copy a good patch of grandma's skin, say right here in the upper cheek where the skin is smooth. We could copy that or sample it and then use it to heal her wrinkles. But what happens when we do that is we get rid of the wrinkles in their entirety. So what we end up getting is something that kind of looks like grandma when she was 20 years old, but in a very unnatural kind of way. Grandma doesn't need to look 20. That's not what she wants. She just wants us to be a little kinder and a little gentler with respect to her portrait. So what we can do here to gain that control, to fix the wrinkles, but actually give us some power, some flexibility to control the degree to which we sort of de-emphasize the wrinkles, what we can do is we can create a layer, and a layer is going to allow us to have full control over this. So over here on the right-hand side, we have something called our layers palette, and this is the control center for layers. This is basically where we do all of our work with layers. Now, to create a new layer, I'm going to come on down here to this icon, and I'm going to click on it, and as you can see, I've got a new layer on top of this background layer. The background layer is our natural original image. I can double click on this new layer and I can give it a new name, and I'm going to call it Wrinkles Gone, just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get our healing brush, and our healing brush is this Band-Aid type looking symbol right here in our toolbar. So if I click and hold down my mouse here, I'm going to get a few different versions of the tool. There are a couple of tools nested in this one little icon. I want not the spot healing brush, but the regular healing brush, so that's what I'm going to click on. And the healing brush is part of a large family of brushes, and all brush type tools will consist of a circle. So I'm just increasing the size of the circle here so you can see it. Obviously that's a little bit too big, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And what I'm going to do with this brush is I'm going to sample or copy a smooth part of grandma's skin. Now, before I do this, what I need to do is check the tools option bar. That's what this area here is, and the tool options bar basically does what its name implies. It gives my tool options, and the one option I need to be aware of here is this option right here. This is where I determine what I'm going to sample with the healing brush. I don't want to sample just the current layer, because if you have a look here, my current layer is simply empty. That's what this checkerboard pattern is implying. So I'm going to come back here and look at my options. You'll see here that I've got an option that says I can sample the current layer and whatever's below it. That's what I want. So I click on that. Now I'm going to be able to sample grandma's skin that's below here on this lower layer. So now to sample, what I need to do is I need to go to my keyboard and hold down the Alt key if you're on Windows, or the Option key if you're on a Mac. So when I do that, you'll notice that my circle turns into a target-like symbol. So once I've got that target-like symbol on the screen there, I'm ready to click. So I'm holding down the Alt or Option key. I now click with my mouse and let go of both. So no hand on the mouse, no hand on the Alt or Option key. Grandma's smooth skin is now in the computer's memory. So what I can do at this point is I can now click and drag in a painting motion and get rid of grandma's wrinkles. Now what I'm doing at the moment here is I'm getting rid of her wrinkles entirely. I'm going to come down here to another blemish, and I'm going to continue doing this. Oops. I'm going to continue doing this until all of her wrinkles are gone. Now this is going to take a while, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward a little bit and get this job done for you in the next second or so. Okay, so here we are. We've pretty much wrapped up getting rid of grandma's wrinkles. But at first, grandma might get excited, but when she takes a careful look at the image, she realizes that she's looking a little plastic-like, kind of looking like a mannequin. It's not very natural. And again, what we said was the objective here is not to turn grandma into a 20-year-old again. around her face. What we want to do is just be kinder and gentler with Grandma's portrait. So we've basically gotten rid of all of her wrinkles. Now if you want to see the before and after, I'm going to come back to the wrinkles gone layer. I'm going to click on this little eyeball icon which represents the visibility of the layer. So if I click on that little eyeball, I'm going to see before and click on it again to see after. So I haven't really finished the job, I haven't really done it around the eyes, but you guys can see the difference there. Now, Grandma's sort of happy, but she's saying, you know, I'm not looking natural. The beauty of layers is the added control that we get, and one of the elements of control is within the opacity control of every layer. So with wrinkles gone, I'm going to come up here to this little function here called opacity. I'm going to click open the slider, and I'm going to reduce the opacity from 100%. I'm going to give it a try here at around the 50% mark, and you can see some of Grandma's wrinkles have come back. If I go all the way to 0 opacity, of course that means that I'm not seeing any effect whatsoever. So at this point it's a matter of your taste. So I'm going to slowly take the slider up bit by bit to maybe 30%, maybe around 40%, and maybe 50%. Let's go back to 50%. And now if I go before and after, you can still see some wrinkles are there, but perhaps, and again it's up to you, let's try maybe 70%. And again, before, after, before, after.